All right, people, the Penn State scandal. Now, I don't know what took Penn State so long to realize the mistake anyway. Joe Paterno was probably the worst coach in collegiate football history. Do you realize this guy went from 1998 to 2011 without winning a goddamn game? He had a stretch where he lost 111 straight games. And Penn State did not fire him. It took for them to finally realize what was going on, and they had no choice but to get him out there when it was exposed by the public what happened for them to fire him because of the pedophilia going on over there. But the 111 straight losses that they suffered because of his inept coaching, they didn't even fire him. So what kind of program is Penn State right now to let a football coach go 111 straight games without winning and then still keeping his job? You know why? They couldn't fire him. They wanted him out of there years ago. They couldn't. And the Paterno family talking about legacy. Let me explain something about legacy, this and that. Legacy is the last thing on your fucking minds right now. You should be wondering why your father, your husband, your grandfather, whatever, seen this shit happen and didn't report it in. That's what you should be wondering. Because I'll tell you right now, if my father, my grandfather, or someone I knew seen this shit and I found out about it, that they were holding it and hiding it, covering it up, I'd go off on them. And I'd wonder, what made you cover it up? We all know it was his football program we wanted to protect. So, Penn State, you got punished severely. A lot of people say they wanted a death penalty. Well, I got news for you. This death penalty here, this is worse than a death penalty. This is like the death penalty that, what's his name? That freak, that fucking Milwaukee freak that killed all them kids over there and fucking, what's his name, Dahmer. This is worse than that death penalty because Chris Darden, I believe it was, whatever his name was, I forget, killed his ass in prison, butchered him. So you got the Jeffrey Dahmer death penalty, what you got. Now, you wish you had the SMU death penalty. So you got what you deserve. You got your statue taken down. Thank God, for crying out loud. You made a statue of some guy. The last time I checked, this guy couldn't even make it to the restroom at fucking Wisconsin Stadium, whatever the hell stadium was, years ago. He was going through the goddamn second quarter, running across the field to go take a dump. So you got a statue of this guy sitting there like this? Come on, man. The bottom line is, if you see a crime going on in this society and you don't report it and you cover it up, your legacy should be the last thing on your fucking mind. You should be wondering why he didn't say nothing. And guess what? If he would have said something when it happened right now, your program would have been blemished for maybe 6 to 8 months, a year at the longest. And now, guess what? Your program ain't going to recover. Bill O'Brien, maybe you should have stuck with the New England Patriots because, quite frankly, you're not going to have too good of a fucking season the next couple, 10 years, 12, 14 years, whatever. I personally think the Big Ten should kick Penn State out of the Big Ten, to be honest with you. Now, they were fined heavily, but you know what? It don't matter. The man lost 111 straight games. His legacy, you know what his legacy is to me? He lost 111 straight games. They wanted them out of there years ago. It took a pedophilia trial to get him out of there. And also, his legacy to me is that now what happened, in hindsight, looking back on it, the man didn't say a fucking word. I don't think about the 111 straight games he lost. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm thinking about what happened at that institution. And he didn't say a fucking word. That's what I'm thinking about. So for anyone out there crying about Joe Pa's getting a raw deal, this and that, no, Joe Pa's not getting a raw deal. Joe Pa's getting what he deserved. Should have said something in 98. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. If my cameraman came out and I found out he was doing what Sandusky was doing, believe me, it'd be a different story now, wouldn't he? He wouldn't have been my cameraman. I'd probably be in jail right now. I wouldn't accept that shit. You let little kids, children, whatever, come to your institution and you knew about what was going on. But your football program, your institution of learning of footballology was more important than them children. And now, consequently, looking back in hindsight, you should have said something, because if you did, 6 months, a year, maybe 2 years at the most, it would have been all forgotten about. You know what they would have said right now in 2012? What happened in 98 with that? They wouldn't even mention it. They wouldn't even have cared, because you know what would have been over with. But now, no one will ever forget about the Penn State scandal. And you got no one to thank but Joe Paterno for allowing this to go on, because you know what? Like I said, it should have never fucking happened as long as it did. Quite frankly, I think Penn State got off rock easy. I think they should have got maybe a 20-year ban. I think they should be fined $400 million. That's what I think. But then again, I'm not in the NCAA right now, the NC2A. The bottom line is, when you fuck up in this society, in most cases, outside of the Casey Anthony case, you usually get penalized severely. And in this case, Penn State You fuck with the bull, you got the horns. Now you have to accept it. It's a new era in Penn State. Maybe Bill O'Brien, in 20 years from now, you'll look back and say Bill O'Brien is one hell of a coach. I hope so for Penn State's sake. Other than that, chalk it up as a tough loss. Tougher than any loss you. Tougher than all them 111 straight losses that Joe Paterno gave you guys from 98 to 2011. You're damn right. You're damn right. You would have been hurt.